So yes, this is what we are going to show on our dashboard. So the KPIs, which would be total sales, total profits, total profit margin. Then we must display all of this, that is the total sales, total profit, and profit margin by day in a chart, a proper chart, uh, a right chart for that would display that well, is what I mean. And then by month, by product, by sale type, by payment mode, and by category. Then we will display the top products, the highest sales grossing one, and then the top category as well. These are the slicers that we'll have on our dashboard. So what we did yesterday was understand, we tried to understand business requirements. We also tried to understand the data sets that we have been given. So yesterday because the data set is being separated into two different tables. So we had to look around how this is going to work out. We also had to look at the business requirement and ensure that we have everything that we need in these two tables. If we don't have it all, then we should approach the business and, ask to be directed to where we'll get whatever it is that's remaining. So this is our transaction table, or what we know as fact table. And we came to that conclusion from the fact that on this table, we can see the event of the business is recorded. So if we look at row 1 now, row 2, actually, the first row there, the date is the 1st of January, 2021. A product ID was recorded. The quantity bought or sold was recorded. The sale type was recorded. Payment mode. So this is where these are the information that tell us or point us in the direction that there's been a transaction. So we see payment mode. The payment was done. And we see if there was any discount given. Now, we are limited on this table because, okay, I see the date, I see the product ID, not even the proper product name. We need a name, okay? But I do see quantity, and that's all. So, but on the other table now, we see, please mute if you are not talking as you come in, please mute. Then on the second table, which we have, tagged dimension or lookup table, we see more information now. We see the product ID. Then we now see the name of the product. So it's starting to make sense. We see the category, and in our business requirement, we know we are going to be needing something to do with the category, something to do with the actual name of the product. We see UOM here, and we know that means unit of measurement. Even from what's displayed within the column, these are all units of measurement. So that makes sense. We see the buying price, and we see the selling price, okay? So here we had just quantity displayed, but now there's price to it. This buying price is the cost price. That's how much it costs the company to get the product. And the selling price would be how much they sold it for. So I'm thinking, because we should have our columns well labeled. So I'm thinking this buying price could be quite confusing. So how about we change it to cost price? Do you agree with me? If we change
Yes.
cost price and these two sales,
Yes.
yeah. So, and that price is wrong as well. This is not the price that we need. So cost, okay, it's all capital. So cost price. So I think we need this price, not the one with the Z. And sales price. Okay. Okay, so that those changes have been made. Even if that's it were required, we can actually decide to write this out so that it makes sense. But it's not very relevant to the business requirement. We don't need anything to do with unit of measurement in our, so it's not really going to show in our dashboard. So we can leave these alone. UOM, it could be confusing to someone looking at your dashboard if you were displaying this, like what does UOM mean? Okay, so if that was to show on our dashboard, we should have somewhere on that dashboard where we spell it out completely, units of measurement, so that they understand what they are looking at. Okay, so now we have everything that we need, but on two separate tables. This is our fact table. We normally analyze from the fact table. The dimension table is for lookup purpose, is for information purpose, okay? But the actual analysis would happen on the fact table. So right now, I need everything almost on here, on this table, all of the columns. Products, I need the product, the category, the cost price, and the sales price. I need all of those to come on this table. I'm not going to be bringing product ID because we already have product ID, on here. And how these two tables would communicate, because we are trying to migrate some columns from here to here now. So that is going to be made possible by the fact that we've got a common ground. We've got product ID on here, and we also have product ID on here. I think it's also safe to name this table product table, because I see that all of the information on here is basically around products. Okay, so if I was to give this table a name, under table design, instead of calling it master data, I could just call it products, and just change it on there as products table. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that actually. Okay, there we go. What? Oh, I shouldn't. Yeah, that's right. I shouldn't have a space when we are. That's why there's no space in this one. It shouldn't have a space between. So products table, maybe I would have something like that on there. Let's see how that works. Oh, no special character either. Okay, also I'll write it together then. Okay, let's see. It seems it has accepted that. So that's, yeah, that's product table. Product table just in terms of the name of the table, but the type of that it is, is dimension. I hope those two information pieces don't get all mixed up in our mind. Okay, so this one now, let me see the name that this one was given. What am I? I'm on transaction table, and I'm trying to see the name of, so they call it input data, which is fair enough. This is where they record each sale that they make. Every time there's been a sale, they come here to input the data there. So I think I'll leave that like that because it actually makes sense. Or another way around, you can decide to call this your sales table. Okay. So, but that's not too relevant. It's a matter of choice now. Now, the task ahead is we need to bring, the first one we are bringing in is products, the product column. We need to bring it, this one, we need to bring this onto here. I need help. How do we bring, what Excel function is going to help us to achieve this? How do I bring products from here, onto here, using the fact that we've got product ID here and we've got product ID here as well. Okay. Who can help us? Please unmute and help if you can.
VLookUp.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So VLookUp, let's see how to work with our VLookUp. Okay, so anytime we are starting an Excel formula, we need an equal to sign. Okay, and I'm on this table because this is where we are bringing the information we need, the data set or the data we need, that column that we need. This is where we are bringing it to. So I start with equal to. Okay, so equal to VLookUp, and immediately I type V and L. If I type just V, everything starting with every formula starting with V, they are all called up. But I type L, and the only VL that we have is VLookUp. So we pick that, okay? So VLookUp, okay? And we see that it's opened a bracket for us. And there is this highlighted first command, so to say, that it's asking for. It's asking us, what is the lookup value? That is, what am I using to look this up? Okay, our lookup value is product ID. It is product ID we are going to use to call up the product from the other side. So I'm going to, and because it says value, it's just the one I need. So I'm just going to click on the number one, that first one. So we have a comma. I put the comma. Immediately I put the comma, we have the table array, the next command highlighted. That is, what table are we looking this product ID up in? So I go into my dimension table, okay, and we can see that it's written it out that we are on dimension table, okay. So, and I'm going to pick all of that table. Let me see if Control A would work here. If that's what I should do. No, okay. Control A won't work. Okay, let me, sometimes I don't remember. Sometimes I don't remember. That's not what I want. So I want it from, let me see how many, so 46. I think we should be able to. A1 to F46, I believe, should work. I think. So it might be necessary to index, yes, to reference those with with the dollar sign. But let's carry on and see what happens. So I'll put a comma there. Okay, please mute. Please mute. I think that the formula has been messed up. Let's start again. So equals VLookUp, product ID, comma, we go into this table. And I'm going to just click and drag, actually. I'm going to drag. So I'm picking all of the table. Okay. So it's picked all of the table and it's picked the name of the table as well. So we've started with product ID, we did a comma. And because the name of this table is product table, it's just going on to say product table all. If we didn't give the table a name, it would have A1 to F, whatever the last cell is there. So I put a comma there. And if we look on this side, it says column index. Now, column index is we are counting from product ID is column 1, okay? Product itself is column 2. So we are counting each column in order of their position now, okay? So 1, 2, 3 for category, 4 for UOM, 5 for cost price, and 6 for sales price. Now we are bringing the products in, and that is column 2. Okay, so on here I'll put a 2. Okay, and I put a comma now, and it's asking us, is it true, which means approximate match, or false, which means exact match? We want an exact match. Okay, so I'll put a false there. Or is it 0 that symbolizes? Let me put false, JJ. Okay, so I'll put a false there. Either 0 or 1. One of those can also work. And I'm closing that bracket because that's the end of that formula. And you can press enter, or you can use this, to that tick sign there to work it out. Okay. And so we have all of the names of the products brought in. So what it's going to do is it's going to use the ID gone into this table to find where the ID matches. So where it finds P for P0024, if it finds P0024 on here, whatever the product name is, it brings it on into this table. That is what VLookUp and the other lookups as well, that's what they do. VLookUp is not the only lookup that we can work with. VLookUp has got its limitations. Okay, there is XLOOKUP, there is HLOOKUP, and we use index match together as well. So look, in your work with Excel, being able to use your lookups, all the different ones, anytime you need to, is very, very important. It's a common skill, commonly required skill in Excel, being able to look up, that is, bring data from one table to another. It's very, very important to be very good at it. And the best way we can be really good at it is to practice, and constantly practice, and in practicing well, we'll not forget, because if you don't use it, you also lose it. So I'll put the name of this as products. That's the name we have on the other side as well. So that's products. Okay. Okay. They are all capital. So let's keep it consistent. I'll make that all capital as well. Okay. Okay. So then we need to bring in the category as well. Remember how I said this is number 1, number 2, number 3. So for shortcut now, you can just copy the formula. You can just copy the formula and just change the from 2, we change for the next one 3, for the next one 4. Okay, but we won't do that right now. What we'll do is practice that VLookUp again. Let's see, for those of us that haven't used it in a long time, or haven't used it before, let's have a go at it from scratch again, from the beginning. And each time we will always use product ID, because it is the common, it is our means to reference, the reference point between the two tables. Okay, so let's start again. Again, we say equals. Should we still use VLookUp or see how XLOOKUP also works? Because yeah, should I use VLookUp one more time, or migrate to use XLOOKUP? What do you prefer?
For me, maybe
Use VLookUp.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So equals VLookUp again. Okay. Now it's asking for lookup value. The value we are using to look up is this. So we click on just the first one. Okay. Then comma. It's asking us from which table array. So from which table, we click on the table. and then we pick the whole table. So I need to scroll back up here, okay? And I'm going to just click on the first one and drag. I'm not going to release my, and drag to the last one, okay? So it's picked all of that table, okay? And then comma now, okay? So with each comma, it would introduce what next to bring. It's asking for column index. That is column what? What number? Okay, now we are bringing C category. So, and that's number 3. So I'll put 3 there, comma, and it's asking for the last command there. Is it approximate match? Approximate match is, should I just, if I find that they are similar, that is the product ID is similar to this, should I still match it? Or the product IDs must exactly match, no difference. That's what these last two ones mean. And we want exact match. I want it to be, I'm double clicking that. I want it to be exactly product P0031 that you are bringing in, not if you find P003, you think, okay, that's almost matching. Okay, so if we put true there, we are telling it if it's almost matching, then still bring it in. And that could, for this particular purpose, that would not work. Okay, but we are saying bring exactly P0031, whatever the name is on that table, or P0032, whatever the name is for the product, whatever the category is, bring it. That's what those two mean. So I'm going to close that and commit it. And here we have the categories of each. It's always good to check. I believe this has worked well. But how about we just look at, okay, look for P0024. It tells us it's product 24, category 3. So let's see if that is correct. So if we look for on the ID here, P0024, product 24, category 3. So it's right. It's brought the right thing in. Okay, so we now need the prices, cost price and sales price. Okay, and it's still the same thing that we are going to do. So I'm going to label those already. And the sales price. Okay. Okay, so for cost price equals VLookUp. I think the more we use it, the more we'll actually remember it. So the first lookup value there, I click on it, comma. We go into the table again, dimensional lookup, and I'm going to pick the whole table. Let me scroll up well. Okay, and from the column header, I'm dragging down to the last one there. Okay, then I'll come back into my formula and comma, the column index this time. What's the column index that we are bringing in this time? When we brought category in, it was column 3. We are bringing price, cost price in. What number of column is it going to be?
5.
Column 5. Thank you. So we say 5. And what are we using? False or true?
False.
False. Thank you. So I'll double click on false. You can type that false in. It will still be right. Okay. And we commit that. Okay. Okay. And for shortcut purpose, I'm just going to copy this. Okay. I'm just control C that. Okay. And I'm coming here to paste it, Control V that. But I'm just going to change the 5 to a 6 and commit it. Okay, so now we have the sales price. Okay, so you don't have to always start it from scratch if you are still using VLookUp. You can always just copy paste and just change to the exact column number that you need. Just change it straight away. Okay. So I didn't bring the unit of measurement in because I don't think it's relevant. If at some point we feel it's relevant, we'll come back and bring it. But remember what we say about redundancy, that we only bring in the tables that the columns that we need. Bring in only as much as you need, because we could be working with thousands or tens of thousands of rows. This is really a very small data set. And for when I was picking the table and dragging, you could ask, what if we've got like hundreds of thousands of rows are we gonna keep dragging? No, we won't have to keep dragging. We could just click on the first one, the column header, use your Control Shift and the right arrow, I believe, to get to the last column. And then while you are still holding Control and Shift down, then press on the bottom one to bring it to the very last row. So within seconds, you would have picked everything instead of dragging like I was dragging. So it's good to also look through shortcuts in Excel just to make your work really fast. Okay, so we have all these in now, and that is mission accomplished for us. So the next step, which we won't start today, would be for us to then look through. I think we have actually looked through. We don't have any blanks. Did we look through? This data set is very clean. Sometimes, or most of the time, you won't get it as clean as this. Okay, so, but it's good practice to look through and ensure you don't have any nulls that you need to deal with, and that all your data types are intact. For example, if I click on this table, this column quantity, which is number, okay, and I go into home, I want to see, can you see it says general on there? That should be showing as number, not general. Let me see if I click on just one cell, see if it shows as number. It's still general. Okay, so we need to change that. Okay, we need quantity to be seen as number because we'll be needing to do numerical work with it. Okay, we don't want it to be seen as general. So we can come here while we have highlighted, that column. We can come here and change it to number. Okay, so I'm changing it to number. And if you don't want the decimal, 0.00 that is got right now, you can come here and remove those, So now it's seeing, Excel is seeing it as number, and we are fine with that. So you look through each one, all of the discount here is all 0. So it's not really going to count. In fact, I have every mind of just removing it really, because it doesn't add any value to the work here. But I'll leave it alone. Okay, and we need this to be seen as number as well. Let's see. Let me see, because we've got an underlying formula there. Okay, actually, it works. And I'm going to remove the decimals on that as well, because they don't add any value to what we are doing. Okay. Okay. I see 156.96 on this one, so I'm not going to remove the decimal on it at all. Let me be sure that I was right in removing the decimal on this one. That's why I should have just looked through. Is this what the right thing? I don't think, yeah, it is. Okay. So if we have a look through and see that we don't have something like points, something that's not 0.00 basically, like we have on the sales price now. Okay, they are all zeros. So one can decide to make it not 0.00, but I'll leave it because so that these two are consistent with each other as price. I'll leave that. Okay. So it looks like, to me, it looks like we are almost there. We are not there, but we are almost there, because now we can easily get total cost, total sales when we multiply quantity. In fact, this cost and sales, we should put them as units. These are units, unit sales. So that would make more sense. Okay. So this way we'll know that, okay, we still need to do some math work, multiplying quantity by unit sales to get the actual total sales. Okay. That would be very necessary. And that would be our next step. So next step would be we calculate the totals for our unit sales, totals for the cost. We find the profit margin, and then we can jump into our pivot table and start getting this information together. So that's our to do for tomorrow. Is there any question before that? Let me stop recording actually.